Now it's time to come to the second match on the big match today, the clash at Old Trafford between Manchester United and Southampton. The pictures come from Granada Television. Your commentator is Gerald Sinstadt, and Manchester United are the side in the darker shirts.
Burns. Kidd. And number one from Willie Morgan, beautifully intercepted. Saul and Fisher. Payne behind him, coming up now. Good dummy run, gave Fisher the room on his other side. Sydenham. Good cross too, Davies. 1-1. Ron Davies, very pleased. Fisher congratulating him. Fisher who started the move. Sydenham's fine cross and Davies's head. Davies back to Payne. Sydenham. 3 men in the penalty area for Southampton. And looking for Davies again, and he's got it again! And it's an own goal. I don't think it could have been stopped from going in, but it's been given. Whether in fact that was Davies's goal or whether it was an own goal is very difficult to say. Gabriel. Just 2 men with him. Sydenham called for that on the left. Now 3 men in the middle if Sydenham can pinpoint his cross. This is where the danger came from in the first half. Over it comes. Davies there, number 3. Magnificent goal again by Davies, and once more United caught. And Davies comes across to congratulate Sydenham as well he might. How well John Sydenham has flighted these crosses onto Davies's head. Behrend. Fuchs. Fuchs coming forward, nothing to be gained by staying back now. And still going, well played Fuchs. Saul. Davies trying to exploit this with Fuchs out of position, and Davies has still got it. This could be his hat-trick. It is!
Well, did he score 3 goals or did he score 4? That really is the only thing that's still in question. What is not in question is that Ron Davies was undoubtedly the outstanding figure in that match at Old Trafford yesterday. We're delighted that he's our big match guest today. With him now is Jimmy Hill.
Was it 3 or 4, Ron?
Well, Jim, to tell the truth, I thought it was 4.
You did? You prepared to argue that?
Definitely, yes.
Well, you'll have a chance in a minute when we can look at the pictures, but first of all, what I'm interested in, what was your view of Manchester United? Are they over the hill?
Well, on yesterday's showing, I thought they were a bad side. Up front, they're just a team of individuals, and at the back, they're just wide open. There's no cohesion there whatsoever.
There's been lots of talk that Wolf McGuinness is harder in the training, getting them really fit. Would you say they appeared fitter than they did last season?
No, not really. You know, they look rather ragged to me. But you know, when you're having a bad time, you know, when things are going against you, you know, things always look like this.
Of course, it could have been that Southampton were really brilliant, and Ron Davies in particular.
Well, we played a new system, 4-4-2, and it worked really well for us. I had the 2 wingers back, and for me, it was great.
4-4-2. Just go into that a bit more for me. That's 4 in the back line, 4 in the middle line, just
2
up
up front. That's right.
And you're one of the 2 up front with whom?
With Frank Saul.
Yeah. And you how have you played before? 4-3-3?
4-3-3, yeah, that's right.
So you bring one person back into the middle line and you score 4 goals away.
That's right, yeah.
Well, let's have a look how it works out in pictures. Anyway, the first goal was a typical Davies header from a beautiful movement. I'd love you to talk over this and show us just how it came about, because it was a real old-fashioned type football goal with all its beauty. Here it comes up now.
Well, let's Fisher with the ball there. He gives a great crossfield pass to John Sydenham. Sydenham collects it and plays it first time past the full-back. Beats him for speed.
Look at that acceleration there.
Fantastic acceleration John's got, yes. Drags it on the inside.
Lovely little dummy over it.
And cracks it over with his right foot. And I'm waiting there at the far post.
Where are you? Just coming,
just coming in now.
now.
That's it. Yeah, over the back of Bill Fowkes there. Over it comes, and that's it.
Lovely how you sit there and just saying that's it. A thing of beauty like that. It's good.
I think I can thank John for that goal anyway.
He really did wonderfully well.
Yeah, he done very, very well indeed. Yeah.
Now the second one is the disputed one.
That's right. Yes.
This is the one that you think you scored, and some of the papers this morning are giving his own goal. Some are crediting it to you. Just explain what happened there.
Well, the second goal was another cross from John Sydenham, right over to the far post. I head it down, and Burns seems to push it, and Burns rushes in and seems to shove it into the net. Whether or not it was in the net before he touched it, I do not know.
You think it was over the line?
Well, I asked the referee half-time, and he said it definitely was. He was going to give it.
Well, just watch now. We can look at this in slow motion. Here comes the crossover from John Sydenham. There you go, screaming in as usual, on the far post, up in the air and bouncing down. Now it touches the goalkeeper, beats him. Now where's it going to drop? There it is. It's not in the goal yet. And there is a slight push, I think, from Frank Saul, and a diving Burns scrambling the ball into the net. What's the decision now, Ron?
Well, so it looks a wee bit different on film, but I still hope to claim it anyway.
Well, I don't know about you, but I reckon that was 3 goals to Ron Davies and not 4. But a wonderful performance nonetheless, and we're of course very grateful on the big match that Ron took the trouble to drive up from Southampton to be with us on the programme. Southampton against Nottingham Forest. Southampton beaten in their previous 5 games. Forest just home from a victory in Romania that puts them into the last 8 of the European Cup. The pictures are from Southern Television. The commentators David Bobin and Southampton here are in the stripes.
Can they make anything of this? Ball finding Nick Holmes. Holmes and Watson. Oh yes! What a lovely goal! What a super move! Delighted with that goal, and why shouldn't they be when it was knocked back from the corner, the cross was floated over, and a beautiful firm header from Dave Watson puts the European champions behind. Southampton lead 1-0. Williams making a lot of space there to gather that ball, and it's still Stevie Williams. Oh my goodness! Larry Lloyd was so near to scoring number 2. Steve Williams it was who caused all the problems, and when the cross came over, Larry Lloyd nearly put it past his own goalkeeper. Baker, oh my goodness, that came off Burns. And Forest are just in tatters. Yes, and Shannon's made it. Mickey Shannon delighted with his goal. And Forest have just gone to pieces in the space of a couple of minutes. They nearly conceded an own goal, and then finally when that ball ran free on the left, Mick Shannon found himself with acres of room almost, and picked his spot to hook it past Shilton. And suddenly Southampton are 2 up. And now we've got a lovely shot of Laurie McMenemy and a rather pensive Brian Clough and Peter Taylor on the right of your screens. They've got problems, but Laurie McMenemy must be delighted. Woodcock timing his leap well to get that past Dave Watson. And Birtle's doing equally well to get that header across to Woodcock. Well, Peter Wells made a brave effort to stop it. Gary Birtle's the scorer. That was a good example of how Forest can break so dangerously. And Peter Wells, despite his very valiant effort at spreading at the feet of Birtles, was unable to keep it out. And Forest are now back in the game, trailing by 2 goals to 1. Kenny Burns slipping at the totally the wrong moment. And out on ball has only got Larry Lloyd, and this is Boyer. And what a lovely way to reply. Look, Kenny Burns will live to regret that moment when he lost his was the slip by Kenny Burns, which opened up the Forest defence, and away went Alan Ball, galloping like the wind. And when he laid it across, Phil Boyer did the rest, and Southampton lead by 3 goals to 1. Baker sliding through that tackle well with Robertson, and finally it's put through, and this is Shannon with Boyer in the middle. Boyer can make it. Oh my goodness, that was so nearly number 4. Well, how often have we seen that this season? The combination of the cross and Phil Boyer in just the right position, and it happened that time, but in the end Forest were lucky to get it away with the header off the line. Stevie Williams showing tenacity and skill in a situation like that. Williams again. Oh, Boyer showing a nice touch. What a lovely trap and turn that was to Graham Baker. This is a great bit of play from Southampton. That Shannon, oh! Well, Southampton are really going to town this afternoon, and Mick Shannon cut them to pieces with the cross, and Phil Boyer is delighted. His second goal of the afternoon. It's now 4-1, and Southampton are so far on top, it's not true.
4-1 to Southampton. What an amazing result that was. And incidentally, that was Nottingham Forest's worst defeat since 1975. For our second match on the programme today, we have Southampton against Brighton, a team near the top because Southampton started the day in 3rd place against Brighton, anxiously looking over their shoulders at the relegation area. So really there's plenty at stake, and not least a fair bit of local pride. The game was covered by Southern Television, commentator David Bobin. Southampton are in the stripes.
Gregory winning the battle in the air there with Trevor Hubbard. He never really got off the ground. Holmes to Boyer. And Boyer knocking the ball inside Sotheby. And the linesman on that side seeing the obstruction. So it's a free kick, which Nick Holmes will take. Again, the big man at the back coming up for Southampton. Watson! Well, in the end it all looked very easy, didn't it? It seemed as if it was happening in slow motion. The ball was knocked over from that free kick which Brighton disputed. It ran to Dave Watson, who suddenly found himself with only Graham Moseley to beat. He made no mistake, and so Southampton are in front very early on in this game, just 8.5 minutes of the match gone. And certainly at the moment Southampton are shutting down on them just a bit, not allowing them to get into their stride. And as a result, well, they're a goal down at the moment. It's now Dave Watson for Southampton to Shannon with Hebbard alongside, and Hebbard's on the run, but he's been driven very wide by the way that ball ran. And if he can get it back now, I think Brighton are in fact back in numbers, but Boyer's there, chance here. Well, a tragedy for Brighton. Mick Shannon, the familiar windmilling of the arms. The Brighton defence left in disarray. It looked for a moment as if there was no problem when Boyer went into challenge with the 2 defenders. And in the end, it ran past them to Shannon, who was unmarked. And Mickey Shannon doesn't really miss from that distance. So Peter Ward, quiet afternoon from him, and indeed from his skipper Brian Horton. Sotheby to Williams. But again, like so many other Brighton raids, it looks as if it's really building to nothing. And yet again, it's Southampton who come away through Ivan Golak. He's got Boyer alongside. It's gone all the way. And it's in there anyway. What a great move from Southampton. Phil Boyer in the end getting the touch. A lovely run from Ivan Golak sent him surging into the area. He was brought down, the ball ran wide, and in the end Phil Boyer knocked it away. And Southampton lead by 3 goals to 0. And this match is going further and further away from their South Coast rivals. Lawrenson and Watson together. The referee seeing the little nudge by Dave Watson on Mark Lawrenson. The 2 players, of course, who were in opposition on Wednesday night in that international at Wembley between England and the Republic of Ireland. Neil McNabb setting it up for his skipper Brian Horton. The 2 of them combining.
inside to Ward. Deceptive ball from Ward for a change. And in the end, Trevor Hebbert, I think, was glad to relieve the pressure on his defence. John Gregory there, you can see, he says they're all asleep. But it's a rare Brighton corner. I think they're third. And can they make something of this? Steve Foster is there, right on the goal line. Lawrenson just on the edge of the 6-yard box. Lawrenson, and it's in there from Peter Ward. Ward got the final touch. A consolation for Brighton, perhaps. It may inspire them to do better things. The ball came over from the left. It was Lawrenson who got the little flick on, and Peter Ward was down there with a touch in, past Peter Wells. Southampton pushing up, trying to spring the offside trap. Horton and Alan Ball, or rather Graham Baker, putting it to Alan Ball. Phil Boyer, it's 1 against 2, but he's got Holmes. Holmes on the run. A great goal from Nick Holmes. And that surely must seal it up. A look of delight on Nick Holmes' face. It's all becoming a little bit too easy. The flurry was there briefly from Brighton, but that was surely the killer goal, set up quite beautifully. Alan Ball with that lovely through pass to Nick Holmes, who was unmarked. A beautiful run from deep in his own half. No mistake with the shot past Mosley. Now 4-1. Well, the Brighton fans are still in good voice, but surely now the game beyond the Brighton team's reach. 4-1 it is, and still possibly more to come. Shannon and Boyer so dangerous together up front. It's 3 against 4 at the moment. This is Shannon outside Foster, but a good interception from Foster. Peter O'Sullivan was there just in case, but that time Steve Foster made no mistake with the important interception. Little Alan Ball bubbling away still, loving every moment of this match. Phil Boyer nearly turning Hebbert. Oh, what a cracking goal from Hebbert. Hebbert finally does it. Brian Horton and the rest of the Brighton team protesting. But that surely was the goal of the match. An absolute bullet from Trevor Hebbert. The ball knocked over from that right square across the penalty area. This time Trevor Hebbert put all his bad luck behind him and all the bad finishing. And really now it's a fairy tale come true. Southampton 5, Brighton 1. Trevor Hebbert at last getting on the score sheet.
And that's how it stayed, a 5-1 win for Southampton. They stay well on course for a place in Europe next season, with all of Brighton's relegation problems sadly beginning to return.
Dave Watson returns to the Dell for the first time since his £50,000 transfer in January. He leads up the Stoke side. Since his move to the Potteries, he's reclaimed his place in the England team. By coincidence, Southampton have an inexperienced youngster in their number 5 shirt. Mark Whitlock makes his 4th appearance in the first team today because Chris Nicholl is suspended. O'Callaghan. Golan. Could go all the way. He's very tempted, and there was a deflection and a very good reaction saved by Fox. Golan looked there as though he was in for his first goal for 13 months. Defence falling away to cover the Southampton attackers. Golak went on, let the shot go, the deflection from Watson, well saved by Fox. And this is not an easy one for Stoke to cope with. There's a lot happening there for Southampton, a lot of possibilities, as Waldron runs up and shoots. Well, they all look at each other and wonder what went wrong. Keegan behind, but it's Waldron coming up and just whistled it through the gap. No wonder Fox is perplexed. Whitlock's header, and then Bracewell, Bailey, Bracewell again. Callahan jumping, Griffiths. No, that won't count. The whistle had gone for a foul by O'Callaghan. Bailey gets it away from Armstrong, and Bracewell's cross, and that's where the foul was, push in the back. Shannon got to the byline and pulls back the cross for Armstrong. That's a classic. That's the advantage of getting to the byline and pulling back the cross, and the header then is always likely to favour the striker rather than the defender. Alan Ball polishes up the forehead that administered the finishing touch. But what good work by Mike Shannon to set it up. Fox absolutely rooted to the spot. Ball to cross now, and Puckett's flick, and then Shannon, and that is number 3. Once again, the set piece brings about the downfall of the Stoke defence. Southampton fans delighted, Fox disconsolate, and a free kick with 2 touches in the air, and goal number 3. Puckett and Shannon. Parkin, Bailey calling for it and getting it. He's well found with that pass, and he's turned well and shot well, and he scored. Well, the credit for that really does belong to Alan Bailey. A real goal scorer's instinct. As soon as the ball was picked up out on the far side, he saw that the space was there in the box, called for the ball, got it, shade of fortune on the turn, but a lovely bit of finish. Callahan giving it to Williams. Keegan, a lovely touch for Shannon, and Shannon heading for goal. Bracewell it was who took the ball away from him, but only as far as Keegan. Armstrong, Shannon, Shannon again. It just wouldn't go. There was some fine football in the build-up. The finish just wasn't there. Good header by Armstrong, and Fox getting his body in the way. Shannon had a couple of bites, so did Puckett, and eventually it's a corner. Well, that just about balances out the effort by Griffiths at the other end. And Mike Shannon now has found himself a substitute because the actual match ball has disappeared. Another Shannon corner. And now on this side. This time it'll be Armstrong. There's the ball that disappeared out of the ground just now. Keegan was given a helping hand there. Oh, Parkin knew what he was doing, and Fox was alert, so there was no danger. McElroy now. Touched away from him by Whitlock, back in by Hampton. Riley, Dodd, Watson! He will enjoy that one. Catalan comprehensively beaten by a most marvellous shot from Dave Watson. There was a moment of utter silence as that ball went in off the crossbar, and Dave Watson will remember that one for some time to come. Bailey helped make it, so did Dodd, and didn't that sing into the net. This to Bracewell, out to Hampton. Hampton tries the shot, and the header from McElroy has gone in. It's 3-3. And that's one of the comebacks of the season by Stoke City. 3-0 down, away from home, now back on terms. Good bit of play by Hampton, and a header by McElroy to level the scores. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in the area, and ball just outside it. And there's the goal! Whitlock has scored it, and it is 4-3. Well, it really is the most extraordinary game. 7 goals we've had, both centre-halves have scored, and it's been rich and royal in entertainment value, and Mark Whitlock's first goal in league football is one that he will cherish. It was a beauty. Williams again. Good ball to find Alan Ball. And that's a good cross, but Fox equal to it. And now the referee brings to an end a game that is going to linger long in the memories here. 7 goals. Mark Whitlock, the 20-year-old who came in at centre-half, scored the goal that eventually settled it after Stoke had come back from 3-0 down to 3-all. Laurie McMenemy goes off relieved at seeing his team win by 4 goals to 3. And they've been such good goals, I wouldn't want to be the one who had to choose which was the best of them. All one could do is offer a vote of thanks to 2 teams who played football in the spirit that we want to see it played. Southampton 4, Stoke City 3.